Yo, it's your boy Loochie tapping in, man. Today we have a great episode, man. I'm interviewing one of my favorite dads in the autism community, Mr. Stanley McNeil, man. I've been his IG is Autism is Life, so that'll already tell you what he about, man. He a great man, and I'm so thankful and blessed to have him on my show. He don't do this often, so I feel honored to have him, bro. And all the dads and mothers and everybody that tuned in, let's learn a lot from this episode, man. So welcome to the stage, my man, Mr. Stanley McNeil.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Mr. Lucci.
How you doing, my brother?
Thank you. Man, I'm doing good. I'm trying to stay blessed and warm out here in Tennessee, man. So I really
Okay,
appreciate the platform. So, yep, I got time today for sure.
for sure. So on my show, I like to ask you how you doing, but then I double back around and ask you again, as an autism dad, how are you doing?
Man, I love it. I love how you double back with it. But I'm going to say again, just being in this journey for a little bit over 13 years now, I mean, I'm super
Wow.
strong. So I'm definitely strong when it comes to this. And, I'm just trying to be strong for the world. So it ain't a
Mm,
perfect world, but I mean, you got to stay strong in the world. So I always try to follow that motto and let's get it.
let's get it, man. I love that, brother. I love that. So introduce the people to yourself, man, and let them know a little bit about you and your journey before we get into your autistic journey.
Okay. Well, again, I mean, thank y'all for having me. My name is Stanley McNeil. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I was a former professional basketball player for the Harlem Globetrotters about
Wow.
12 years ago.
Salute.
I mean, thank you. So, I mean, I grew up, I graduated from Union University in Jackson, Tennessee. And then after that, I went and I played professionally. So I did that. Always was my dream of being a professional basketball player. I accomplished those goals. And then again, when I left, my son he wasn't even one. He wasn't even 1 years old yet when I left. So again, his mama was like, you know what, this always been your dream, go after it, go accomplish it. So I did it, had that
Wow.
experience, but just through that journey, something just didn't feel right. And it didn't feel right. So I was like, you know what? I said, I don't know if I can do this. Like I accomplished it, but I don't know if I can continue to keep going with it because I just want to be with my son. I want to be
Hmm.
around my son. So, I mean, long story short, I accomplished that dream and I stopped. Decided to go back to school for special education. Now I'm a
Wow.
special education teacher now in an adult high school, and never thought I was gonna be doing it 1,000 years. I've been doing it a little bit over 10 years now. And again, not
Wow.
only am I helping, just my son, but I'm helping people all around the world, especially with my platform. And I know throughout the show we can get into how I started it. So
For sure, man. I appreciate that, brother. Beautiful story, man. And kudos to you for achieving something that you want to do in your life, man. That's big as a man. I call that success. If you put out there, you get out there and you want to do something and you actually do it, that's success in my eyes. So kudos to you, bro.
sir,
So
thank
getting
you.
into why we here. We here because we do share something similar together. We are autism dads. And how I came across this man that I got much respect for is because my son is autistic and he's nonverbal, which everybody know his name is Champ. And one day, man, I ain't gonna tell y'all no lie. I'm on IG just scrolling. I was having one of my tough mornings. It just was hard for me to sleep. I'm having guilt, everything, missing my baby and all that. And I'm scrolling IG and I see my brother page and it said autism is life. That's what I seen first. So I clicked on it. And it was him and his son sharing an intimate moment in the car. And I want to share that with y'all right quick. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me share that with y'all.
All right, son. I know we go through this cycle every week. Seems like it's gonna take forever to see you again. Yeah, I gotta get you a new phone.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Yep, I got you.
That would be back.
Yep, Dad, I'll definitely be back, son. Can I say a prayer for you before we go? All right, let's get it.
Right there.
All right, Dad, gonna lead it. Lord, thank you for this day. I just ask that you keep my son safe over this week, the next couple of weeks before I see him again. Just continue to cover him, watch over him in each and every way. Continue to allow him to do things that he needs to do well, helping the world continuing to allow autism to be his blueprint to help the world see positivity. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. I love you, son.
Brother, dude.
Love you too, buddy.
Be safe.
Bro, listen to me, bro. Thank you. Father
Yes,
to
sir.
Father, whatever made you share that, whatever continue to make you share these things with your son, bro, just know that from father to father, it means something, bro. It means something to me, bro, because I cannot wait to hear my son talk and put sentences together and all of that. And those are the same moments we going to share because I'm not with his mother. I don't have him 24/7. So I understand, bro, when you got to drop him off and pick him up. I get it. And me scrolling that day and getting that was a message from God to me. Just keep going, bro. Keep going. It is light at the end of the tunnel. So thank you again, my brother. I want to share that. And while we're going to my first question, how has your journey been when you first experienced your son was diagnosed with autism? How did that affect you in your journey?
Man, I can give you a million words on that one. So, I mean, it's so crazy because I feel like God, He always put things in your proximity to kind of let you know what's ahead and
Mm,
what you about to be looking forward to. So, I never forget back when I was in college, I would always come home and I would work at this summer camp. And at this summer camp, I worked with 7 and 8 year olds. And at this particular camp, so we had all the kids, we had about 30 kids in there. And this was before my son wasn't even born yet. My son wasn't even born yet. So we would go to this camp, me and his mom worked at the camp together, actually, because we went to college together. So we worked at this camp, and it was this particular kid I'd never forget. His name was Evan. Shout out to Evan. I know he's an adult now, doing well, but I never forget. I would see him, and he would always just be in his own world. Again, he'd be over to the right while everybody else over here to the left, and he was happy. Like he was cool, he was comfortable, and everything was okay. But I would always pay attention to that. And just one day, I never forget, he came over to me. I was studying, I was doing some stuff for college. I was reading his literature book, and I never forget, he came over and he was like, "What you reading?" And I was like, "I'm reading this college level book, his literature." And I didn't think he was gonna understand it or know what to do. But he asked
right.
me, could he read the book? And then I remember he like 7. So I'm like, okay, and my coworker was right there with me, and we sitting there watching, everybody else was watching the movie. He wanted to
Mm-hmm.
read. So man, little guy came over, got the book, and literally, I mean, 3 or 4 pages in about maybe a minute and a half. And I say fluently
Wow.
reading his book. So, I looked at my coworker and I was like, hey, I know, I just don't understand. Like I thought I know something is kind of going on with him, but how is he able to do that? And he got some form of a disability. This before I ever knew what autism was, didn't know what it was at all. And she was telling me, she was going into education too. And she was like, I think he got autism. And I was like, autism? What is that? I didn't know what it was.
Right.
Like what is autism? This was like 2007, 2008. And I was like, he got autism, didn't know what it was. So long story short, um, you know, I would always pay attention to that. When they go play, I mean, he liked to take the trash can. He took the bag out of it and just sit in the like in his own world. He was happy. Other kids laughing, didn't understand what it was. But I always had something special in my heart for him. So I would always try to go and play with him or whatever it was. But anyway, long story short, um, my son was born, and when he was born, I always thought, man, like I got a professional basketball player on the way. Like he finna do the same thing that I'm doing. Like, I'm ready for that. And I never forget, like, around 2 years old, 2 years old, we took him to the doctor, and the doctor was like, hey, how many words is he saying? And we was like, maybe 5 or 10. And, they kind of, the doctor kind of scratched his head and was like, kind of was thinking. I was like, what's wrong? And he was like, man, that's not kids typically can say, hundreds of words by the time they're 1 year old. And I was like, okay, so what's going on with that? So they did some more tests. We found out that he needed tubes. So it's like, man, he got a lot of fluid in his ear. And we think we solved the problem. So we scheduled his surgery. He got the tubes put in his ears. And it was like, he should be, in about 6 weeks, his vocabulary should go up, at least 200 to 300 words.
Right.
Come back in 6 weeks. Doctor, okay, how does speech come in words? I said, Doc, I mean, about 10 words, 5 to 10 words about the same words. So he was like, man, I think y'all should go get him tested for autism. So I'm like, well, as a father, I'm like freaking out because I'm like, wait a minute, nah. Not even thinking about the experience that I had with a young man years ago. But I'm like, nah, I can't. I know it ain't this ain't what's going on because how? Why? I'm just all these questions. But I ended up, we ended up going through the process, and then as we was going through the process, he just went mute. Like he just stopped talking. Like there was no words at all. So now me as a dad, I'm like, again, I'm questioning myself, like, why? Like, why is this happening? Not really understanding or knowing like what it is that I need to do. And again, as that journey started progressing, we end up getting that confirmation. So I never forget when we got that confirmation, his mama called me February 17th, 20, he was 3 years old when he was diagnosed. So what's this, 2026? So it was like 2014 when his mama called me, 2013, 2014. And she was crying. And his mama strong, like he got like super, super strong. And when she was crying, I knew it. I was like, that's the confirmation. And she was like, he got autism. So I'm like, everything gonna be okay. And she was like, and she was firm in this, and she said, I'll never be okay with it. And I said, what you mean? She was like, I'll never be okay with it. I'm like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, just because he diagnosed with autism don't mean that's the end of the fight. So what we got to do now, remember, we co-parents. We're not together. So what we got to do is, now we got to really be strictly about business. And we got to make sure that we do everything that we can do to make sure that his life continues to progress. Because I want my son to be independent. And she was strong when she said that. So me as a father, I knew. I said, okay, I got to get on board. And I really got to hone in on this thing and do what I need to do to make sure that everything that she's saying, I'm aligned with that, and that our son is actually going to be, reach a level of success. So, I mean, long story short, that's when I decided to go into special education. I never thought in a million years I was going to be a teacher, bro. I never thought that. Wow. And like I always tell people, when God got a purpose for you, he got a purpose. And I knew right then, I said, man, like, that's the purpose, man. That's the purpose. And then just in conclusion, I just was like, okay, I'm not really passionate about it. People are like, man, you're so passionate. And I always tell people, I'm like, nah, it ain't really passion. It's purpose. So I always tell people it's purpose over passion. And when the reason I say that is because, like, it be days I'm like, man, like, I just don't know why. But I don't question God. And it be days that, my son, he has some hard days. The internet don't always see that, but he do have some hard days sometimes. And it be tough, especially in the beginning when he was nonverbal. It was tough. So, I just always say, you know what? Every day I gotta love him anyway. And that's why I always say, let's get it. Because when I wake up, I'm like, look, let's get to it. Like, every day we finna conquer this day. No matter if you having a meltdown, no matter if I can't understand what you want, like every day we gonna be attacking this day, and I'ma always love you no matter what. So, and, like I said, I can talk about it for years, but that's just to kind of
Man,
sum it up, bro.
this your safe space, bro. You can talk long as you want, bro. This is for us. This for fathers. I'm learning about you. I want to know. I'm pretty sure the viewers and followers want to know. So now it's talk, bro. And thank you for sharing it like that because you walked me down that journey, and I wanted to know your journey. And like you said, sometimes God put things in your proximity to get you ready, dog. To warn you, to show you this is what you about to live, and you just never know. And he, like you said, you had dreams of being a professional. He gave you a little bit of that. He let you taste it. But now I
Yep.
got something for your life, and that's what I picked up from your journey. And it's beautiful. So thank you for sharing that, bro. So once you realize your baby boy got autism, and I know that hit you, and you're a strong man, like you said, and you know that your son's mother was going to be strong as well. So tell me the times where you do get weak, the times where the population not nice, when the people don't know about autism, or when the family members don't know and they have short patience for your situation, or they may laugh at how your son talk or anything like that. Take me where do you get your strength from in those times when it's not always sweet, when there is negativity surrounding this autism? Because to be honest, the awareness around it is not high. So a lot of
Right.
parents walk around and they judge before they can really understand what we really going through. So take me there, where your strength come from to deal with that, because I see you have a very positive attitude online, of course, but dealing with it personally, take me there.
Man, so I just never get like when he and what people see is so crazy because even my wife, she tell me because in the beginning my wife was there and just shout out to her. They don't like to be seen online. Even from his mom to her, they don't like to be seen, but they do so much of the work. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand. It take a team and it take a lot of support. So I
Man, I'm so
definitely
glad you
want to shout
said
that
that.
out.
Yeah, I'm
But
so glad you
I
said
mean,
that. Thank
yes, sir. But it's so funny because in the beginning of this journey, like before the internet, before all of that, man, I had no patience. Like my patience, because
you.
for one, in the beginning, man, I was like it was more anger. I wanted the sad. It
Wow.
was like,
Okay.
come on, man, like I ain't cheat the process. Like I do what I'm supposed to do. I'm a good person. I help people, and
Mm.
I was questioning God, bro. Like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to my son? Like, I just didn't understand it, and I never forget, man. Like in 2013, like, and I share this story because it was like the lead of the journey. Like all the
Mm-hmm.
success that I've accomplished, it started with this potential level of tragedy, I'd say. So
Mm.
in 2013, when me and his mom split, like I felt like I just lost everything, like from finances to my family, everything. I lost it. So that's when
Mm.
I ended up becoming a co. I just felt like, man, I never be a part time dad. Like this just ain't me because I'm just gonna always be in my son's life. I grew up without my father. Like never seen my father a day in my life, bro. I'm 38 years old. My father can walk right past me. I wouldn't know who he is. So as a kid, that really
Damn.
hurted me a lot. So a lot of the success came from that though. Like I'm a person that, okay, let me prove. I like to prove people wrong. Meaning that, okay, you ain't coming. I don't know where you at. I don't know if you want to be around me, but let me just say this: like I'm gonna be so successful that you ain't gonna have no choice. So everything that I did from, the basketball aspect to the degrees to, I mean, I wrote multiple books and I was like, you know what? This gonna make him come around. But in reality, he never came. Never came. So I said, you know what? I gotta be my own hero now. Like I ain't got nobody to look up like that in their presence as a father. So what I gotta do is I gotta be my own hero. I got to make sure that I show up for my son every day. I got to make sure that I follow through from him. I'm big on following through with what I say I'm gonna do. Like I'm super big on that. And my son, from when me and his mom split, from when he was 2 years old all the way now, he'll be 15 this year. I don't miss time with my son, and I take that super, super personal. So every other weekend, I used to get him every weekend, but he's getting older. He got other siblings with his mom, and it was all about, okay, I want to make sure that I'm fair with this too. And that's what I try to tell young fathers, like, you can't look at it like it's just about you, or if it's about her. It's about our seed that y'all got together. And
Right.
if you make sure that that's the mutual point, everything else it's gonna work out. But just back to what you were saying, from as far as the question, I was questioning them. I was like, I just can't understand why this happening. And I was just losing everything, bro. Like I was losing everything. And I'll never forget. I was picking him up one day. I picked him up from his grandmother. And man, I was in a dark space, bro. Like I was in a dark space. And I never forget. My son was nonverbal too. So remember, he can't talk to me.
Right.
None of that. So I never forget. I picked him up. We end up driving. So I'm driving. And I just stop in a parking lot, like a gas station or some convenience store. And I stop and I'm just thinking, I'm like, so, I'm looking back, he in his car seat, and I'm just looking back and I'm like, all this stuff that I'm going through, like, I don't understand it. I don't know why. And man, I'm like, I just want to just end it. I just want to end it all.
Dang.
I don't want to be here no more. I don't want to be on this earth. I'm just going, I just don't want to be in this in this space no more. So, I'm looking at my son though. So I'm back there looking at my son, and I'm like, you know what? I never do nothing to harm my son. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take him back. I'm gonna take him back to his grandmother. I ain't gonna tell him, I ain't gonna tell her the reason why. I'm just gonna take her back. And what I did was I wrote this long message. So I wrote this long text message to all the people that I knew cared about me. And I didn't do it just for no attention. I did it just to let them know, like, hey, this is what's going on to everybody. And I sent that message out. And what I did to show people I was serious, I cut my phone off. So I cut it off after I sent the message. So I'm like, you know what? I thought about it. I planned it out. I knew what I was going to do. And I ended up, I'm getting ready to take them back. And I promise you, bro, like I tell people all the time, like, God is real. And when I say that,
Amen.
man, I was like, I look back at my son one more time. And then as I look back and I kind of turn back toward, the front of the car, I just hear like, Dad, I need you. Dad, you can't do this. And, his mouth ain't moving. I'm like, I'm thinking I'm going crazy, bro. I'm like, what? Like, Dad, God got more in store for you. It was all these things. I was like, what? I just started praying. Like, I was in tears. I held my son's hand and I just started praying. So when people see me praying on social media, and we've been doing that. Like that, before all of this stuff, we've been doing it. I just documented because I want the world to know that, like, it worked. And on this journey, you need God, bro. Like you can't.
Amen.
I know we men, I know we strong, but you need them in this journey because it ain't hard. I mean, it ain't easy at all. But I never forget. I did that. That happened, and I just held his hand. I prayed, and I was like, you know what? I'm finna turn this thing around. No matter what, I'm finna love him anyway, and I'm gonna get through this with my son. And I cut my phone back on. I had like 200 missed calls and 200 text messages, but I ended up telling everybody, I'm all right now. And then that going forward, I ended up saying, you know what? I'm gonna be there for my son. I'm gonna just be there, and I'm gonna be strong for him. I love him anyway. Fast forward, back in 2019, I never forget. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead, because people, they just didn't understand it. It was like, What's wrong with him? Why he doing that? Why he looking like that? Why he acting like that? And people didn't get it. And I used to get up so upset because I'm like, look, man, like, calm down. Like, you don't want, and then I said, you know what? I said, God put me back in my purpose. And I'll never forget, I told my wife, I was like, 2019, I just came up with this idea. I was like, I want to make t-shirts. And she was like, okay, what you like just t-shirts just random? And I said, nah. I said, I want to make t-shirts about autism. And I said, I'm gonna call it Autism is Life. And she said, okay. She said, what's the meaning of that? I said, because I want people to understand that when it comes to, I don't even call it a situation. When it comes to my journey, like this is my life now. Like autism, everything revolves around that.
Yes.
So I want people to know, and I'm a dude that I like to throw a fit on now and then. I said, I want people to see that this can be cool. This can be something positive, because all I was getting with it was the negative. I said, man, this can be cool. So I said, you know what? We're gonna do that. We started making t-shirts, and then I'm like, okay, dang, these t-shirts ain't selling. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm trying to show people the journey, and then I never get out talking to my brother. Shout out to my brother. He was like, man, let me ask you something. I said, what's that? He was like, man, do I got a son with autism? I said, nah. He said, do I got a child? I said, you know people with kids with autism? I said, yeah, a few, but not many. He said, but the people that you know, if you go to them right now and you express this to them, how they feel. I said, well, they show love, here and there about it. He was like, well, it's a brother. He said, I'm your brother. So let me tell you this. He said, I love your son. I love you. I care about everything you're doing, but I don't feel it. I don't feel you, bro. And I was like, what?
Whoa.
He was like, you got to make people feel it. He said, you got to make people feel it. And he said, once you make people feel it, man, I always call him the prophet. My shout out to my big brother. His name Red. And I said, I always call him Red the prophet.
Shout out,
and he always be like, I be like, man, you like a prophet, man. He was like, hey, I'm telling you, this was 2019. I never get said, man, it's gonna go global. He said, this gonna be big, man, because ain't nobody doing this. And he was like, I said, okay. So long story short, when he said you got to make people feel, he was like a light bulb went off. I said, okay, it ain't even about the shirts, really. It ain't even about making the money from the shirt. It ain't about none of that. What I knew was, I said, okay, I got to connect with people to make them feel me. And it went from these t-shirts to fatherhood. And I said, fatherhood is the niche. I was like, okay, absent fathers that's around, the motivation, the connection. I got to be able to connect with people in that way. And I just got to tie autism in with it. I started doing that. So I said, you know what? Let me take my focus off these shirts and let me show people the journey. Let me show people our life and let me keep it authentic. Let me make it real. I did that, man. And I'm telling you, like 2021, I went from like 500 followers to like 50,000. And it just kept growing. And I just kept doing it. And I just kept showing people the real in it. And I mean, that's how I just gravitated. And again, it's global. Like, it ain't just in the United States. I'm talking about people from Europe, people from Africa, people from Canada. Like, these people reach out all over the world. And it's a humble experience, bro. For sure.
God is so good, bro. God is so good, man. And I'm proud of you, bro, for following your intuition and going with that, and shouts out to your brother for real, because like I just told you my story, I felt you. People always, I'm gonna leave this with you too. Like, people, they hear what you say, but they gonna remember how you made them feel all day long. They gonna hear you, but if you made them feel a certain type of way, that's something that they'll never forget. So that's some great advice that he gave you. Now, with that new fame coming into your life, having a lot of people knowing what's going on with your son, like we said, you got good and you got bad that come along with that. Can I get a real bad experience that you had online, and how did you handle that?
Oh, absolutely.
Being that so many people involved.
I think about this is the highlight of all of this social media, space and all of that. Man, I never forget. Again, I don't know if you're familiar with the Blue Raspberry Russia video, but that
Yeah,
video
I
came
seen it.
out
I seen it.
2 years ago. And man, and when I tell you now, I'm like, okay, look, because I don't really call it. People like, you famous, and I'm like, nah, man, I ain't famous. I'm a regular person like anybody else. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm in my purpose. I'm doing what God's telling me to do, and I'm gonna just be authentic when I do it. And man, I never forget. Our routine was always when we get up in the morning, let's give some affirmations. Let's tell the people to have a great day. And let's just keep going. And for some reason, I said, okay, he just loved these slushies and stuff. He was into slushies in the morning. And I was like, you know what? On the weekend, his mama, she real more health conscious. He like, look, he don't just on one a day. He don't really do it. So I'm like, okay, we just doing it, for our video. So I never forget. And it's so crazy because I was a little bit overweight. I started getting overweight. And my son, when it comes to sensory, people don't understand with sensory, like autistic children, they gravitate to certain things when it comes to sensory. So my son, he would always, when he was excited, some of them flap, some of them they rock back and forth. But my son, he do that.
All kind of stuff.
You see what I'm saying? But he do that. But his thing was when he would always grab me and hug me, he would always pat my stomach. And that's what he would do. So, I'm not thinking nothing of it. So we in the car and we go to Sonic. He just fascinated with going to Sonic and getting a slush. I said, okay, let's go to Sonic. So I'm recording. I'm like, okay, we getting into him being more independent and then him ordering his own food and stuff. So, man, all I did was record the video of him ordering it. And then I say, son, what you want? And I say, he telling him, I said, he want a blue raspberry slush with nerds in it. And when I do it, now remember, he's sitting beside me because we take a lot of videos in the car. He beside me, the camera like right here in this space, like how the video is now. And all you can see is him smiling and doing this. So, I ain't thinking nothing of it, and I never forget. Somebody that I knew, they was like, hey man, yo, this video that you posted, and I'm not thinking nothing of it. Man, this video you posted probably maybe like an hour or two later. He said, man, this video got like 70,000 views on it, like 2 hours, and it's everywhere. Cause I post a lot on Instagram and Facebook mainly, but he was like, man, it's on TikTok. I said, I ain't post no video on TikTok. What do you mean? He said, man, this is video with people like they just going crazy over this video. And I'm like, what? So how it became a bad experience, people took him stimming to, oh man, he doing something sexually to his father. And I was like, what?
Are you serious, bro?
Man, I was freaking out, man. I'm talking about I was trying to fight the whole internet. And what I learned from this space, because it went, when I tell you, man, me and his mom, even his mom, like I said, his mom, she ain't, she in this space, she do a lot of great work. Even with my wife, I don't want to be seen in that. So it was like, they was like, look, I'm trying to go find these people in New Orleans, these people in California. I'm like, look, we finna go the flight. And I wanted all the smoke, bro. And I realized, I was like, man, I can't fight the internet. I said, I can't fight the internet. And what I knew as far as the negativity, I was like, you got to understand. I tell people all the time, I say, look, when it comes with these big platforms and these big pages, you got to take the good with the bad. You got to take the good with the bad. You can't want all of the success and then don't think that it's going to be another group that ain't, on your side, or they don't understand.
Amen.
They don't get it.
Amen.
So I knew then, I was like, even though it was negative and it started out negative, and I'm talking about people was, hey man, they messaging me, hey, this video, if you pay me $500, I'll take it down. I'm like, what? No, I'm telling people, take it down, man. What you doing?
They trying to extort you now? And it's
Oh yeah,
story.
it was
Oh
it was
my God.
monetary gain for sure. And I was like, yeah, and I end up taking a video down. I said, I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. And my one of my best friends, shout out to T.O., he was like, bro, stop it. No, don't. He said, don't take it down. I said, nah, man, like this is my son. Like people
Yeah.
they humiliated my son. And I just can't
Damn,
take that.
man.
He said, bro, don't man, that video before I took it down, that video was in like 14 million views. I took
Whoa,
it down
bro.
maybe like 3 weeks. In about 3 weeks, it was at like 14 million views on Instagram. It went crazy. And I was like,
Jesus.
I took it down, bro. I took it down. I said, I can't, it ain't about the money. It ain't about nothing. I'm gonna just take this down. I can't do it. So long story short, the video came out. I never forget. I came up with an idea because again, I make t-shirts for autism. So I was like, you know what? I can't fight the enemy. I'm finna embrace this thing.
Yes,
I
sir.
gotta bring positivity back into it because I was getting out of my element. And I said, I gotta become more positive with it. I even tried to laugh at it. I didn't understand why people would think that, but I even tried to laugh at it and try to make it funny. But
That
I said,
is
you know
so
what?
crazy, man.
And, I,
Wow.
and in conclusion, I was like, okay, I got something. So I never get when the Shannon Sharp stuff came out with the girl and the video, he
Michelle.
went live by mistake.
Yeah,
So I
Michelle.
was like, and then they made the shirt. And when they made this, I said, okay, he embracing this thing, just because, even though it wasn't about the monetary thing for me, honestly, it wasn't. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna beat people at their own game. They talking about it. We're gonna make a shirt about it. Let's make a shirt. And I just kept seeing in the comments, they was it was the blue raspberry Russian and how they was spelling it on their shirt, how they was saying it. I said, okay, you know what? Let's get it. Let's do it. I created the design on my own. I drafted everything. I sent it off. And then I said, hey, man, this is perfect. I made it the slushy color. And I said, you know what? Let's add no nerds because his mom was like, oh, he don't need all those nerds. He don't need that candy and it's too much sugar. I said, so we're going to say no nerds then. Man, I posted it. I never forget. I put them on the shirt, bought them some matching shoes with it.
Yes, Lord.
We
Yes,
embraced
Lord.
it. I never forget. Man, I posted that video. That video went viral. And I had my website, man. I tell you, that shirt, I sold like over 1,000 shirts in like 2 months. And I had to cut it off because it was too much. Like people went crazy about the shirt. So that's why I say, even though it started out with like a lot of negativity,
Right,
God was
right.
like, you know what? I got you. Don't worry about that. I got you. And man, I'm talking about like it went crazy and it went from negativity to positivity in the community. Like I said, I got a big community. They was behind me and everybody was purchasing
Man.
these shirts. And I was like, this is crazy. So yeah,
Negative to
so
positive.
negativity to positive. Yep.
That's how I go.
Yep.
And normally, bro, coming up when you about to be successful in life, God have to take you through that negative first because he got to build you up. He got to make sure you're strong enough to even be on that platform, like you said earlier. A lot of people not built for that, bro. A lot of people can't
Right.
take it. So it take different people to give you a different outlook on how to look at this, and then you embraced it. You made it a negative situation and turned it positive overnight, and made it a great. Because that's what the internet love to do. Anything they can see that can be a little bit negative, they blow it out of proportion. And I've
That's right.
learned that as well. Even some things I've done in my life, if it's a little bit negative, that's what they want to praise the most instead of all the good that I do. And we do
Right.
it as people. I post something and then everybody be talking good, and then that one person who hate stick out like a sore thumb. It's like, why don't you just ignore it and go on to the love? But it'd be like, nah, what you hating for? So it's just negative attracts so many people for some reason, bro. I hate it, but I do understand in this space, now that I'm sharing my son a little bit more, I don't share with the aspect of being like shy or jealous, or I mean not jealous, but shy or shame or anything like that. I just share that's my baby. And if somebody say something I don't like, I'm gonna address that. I'm gonna handle that as a man if I see fit. If not, I keep moving on because, like you said, I can't whoop the internet. I can't. I might can whoop you
You
if you're in
can't,
front
man.
of me, but I can't be
You can't
fighting
whoop
all
the
these
internet.
internet gangsters, bro. So no, respect on that, bro. Respect on how you move with that. So my next question, balancing the load with you and your wife. And that's a great thing that y'all got that union and you do have that help. Balancing the load. How do y'all balance that load between each other with dealing with your son and kind of shifting those responsibilities? Because I know it's easy to get burnt out as a parent, especially when you're dealing with autism. It's like a 24/7 job. So how do y'all balance y'all load between each other to make sure everything running smooth at the house?
I mean, so for us, again, when we first got together, like she didn't understand it neither. Like that's what was
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning. The support was there, and she get mad at me sometimes when I tell her this, but I always tell her out of love. Like I always tell her, I said, look, you will never understand, you will never get it because you don't have a child with a disability. But what I learned from her again, she was one of the ones that showed me that patience. Because in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
bro, I did not have no patience. Like my son would, especially when he was nonverbal, like I used to get so mad, and and she was like,
I
"Look,
understand,
you
bro.
got to calm down. Like you
Yeah.
got to." And when she was seeing that, I was like, you know what, I got to work on my patience. And I knew, and
Mm.
I tell people all the time, just through autism, I've learned to be more patient in my life, just because of that. And it came from her. But when it comes to the low, like I mean, it's just always that more. She's more of a nurturer. So when it comes to just naturally being able to nurture him, if he's sick, if he just touching his head, she ready to go get him some medication, some medicine for him or
Amen.
something, or and
Amen.
she's always doing the thing. And I knew when I was looking for that queen, like I said, okay, a lot of people didn't understand it, like as far as how my life, autism is my life, bro. So
Yeah.
whoever that I'm with and in their proximity with me, you got to be able to understand what come with me. You got to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got a son with a disability. It ain't like a son, and I don't like to say he's not normal, but it ain't
Right,
like
right. Me too.
a normal life. Like my life is
Right.
because of the things that my son have to do or the things that he can't do. It's gonna be different from what you may be accustomed to seeing. So,
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, when I saw that, okay, all of the stuff that I'm telling her, it matters, and I saw that she was able to handle. Like again, she calmed me down when I was getting frustrated when it comes to some of his meltdowns. And when I noticed that she was able to do that just for me, I said, yeah, that's the one I need
That
to
love.
home. Yeah, I knew then. So again, because I remember just when I was in the dating era, like you get them every weekend, or I'm like, yeah, I get them every weekend. Like you want to go on a date, we're
Yeah.
gonna go on a weekday. We're gonna have to do it on a weekday because I get my son every weekend until I started getting them every other. When he got older, I started getting them every week, other weekend. But I said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can't do it. Or it was like, dang, your son, you can't, he can't do this or that. It was so many questions around what he couldn't do, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, space ain't that. I don't like that energy. So my son, and then just in conclusion, with children with autism, they so strong and they give you so many signs, bro. Like my son, like if I felt like, and it wasn't even with somebody that I was potentially dating, my son would
Mm-hmm.
always come up to people. Let's say that somebody came and was like, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you." He'd be man or woman, and my son would always after he grabbed my hand, he'll touch my hand, and then he'll go back and he'll grab the person's hand that I just touched, and he would
Mm-hmm.
grab their hand, and after he grabbed their hand, he would smell their hand. And I was like, I'm just thinking, like, he autistic. It's just something,
Yeah.
not really understanding what he was doing. And I never get when his doctor was like, well, the reason why he doing that is because he can sense
Mm.
positive or negative energy. And it's so crazy because when he would do it, if he didn't like
That's
somebody, he would
amazing.
push him. He would kind of like, kind of push him away. If
Yeah.
he did like him, he would always kind of grab him or hug him or something. I was like,
Wow, my
man, that's
son do that.
amazing
That's
to be able to
amazing.
have those traits. So
That's
for
amazing, bro.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you for sharing that because I noticed that about my son, and I always thought I never attributed to positive or negative energy. I always felt like it was just you're a good person or a bad person type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sort of like the same thing because some people he will not go to, but some people he'll go right to them and hug on them and love on them. And some people, bro, he will not go near. So it's like, man, our kids is amazing, bro, in their own little way. And I think with it being it's not a playbook or it's not a certain way to father these kids. So we learning as we go. So we're realizing things that our sons is doing that's amazing us. Like my son
Yep.
has great memory. Like this boy can remember everything. He just see it one time and he remember exactly where it was at. He can go right back to it. I mean, he can't talk, but he can tell you how to get to where he want to go. So I just think
Right.
those things are amazing. And I always look at it like through the lens of their eyes, how they see the world, how they see the world not being able to express out their mouth how they feel. And, with your son, he's a little bit further than mine. He's saying just dada, mama, he right there right now. So it's just like one
Mm-hmm.
of those things where I just keep my faith, bro. I keep my faith. I look at dads like you. I look at other parents and some of their kids didn't talk till they was 20 years old and stuff like that. So it's so many ends of the spectrum that I lean on to get through my experiences myself. So another question I wanted to ask you, bro, and this is a big one for me and the daddies out there as well. What's your advice to an autism dad to stay in the game? To the ones that might can't handle the diagnosis, the ones that just never heard of autism before, might not had no connection with a child with disabilities, and it's just brand new to them. What's the advice to them to stay in the game with that parent, even if they are together or not? Because this is not a one person show. So, what's your advice to that guy to stay in the game? Because that's the main reason this show is created for this dads to just motivate them to stay in the game, no matter how hard it is. So, give me some of your strength and advice that you can give to the other dads.
Okay, for sure. So the first thing I got a few things for you. First thing I'm gonna say is just from my perspective and just my journey. Like I never forget when I got that diagnosis. It's so crazy because I was working in a library. I never forget. I'm a big reader, bro. I love to read books and listen to audio books. And I never forget when he got the diagnosis, I'm like, okay, I gotta learn everything I can about this thing. Cause I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to expect. So I gotta become knowledgeable about this thing. So I never get. I recommend this book. It changed my perspective about confirmation. Like, cause as far it's called it's called Not My Boy by Rodney Peete, the
Not my
football
boy.
player in the lady. Not My Boy by Rodney Peete. I never forget the actor
Holly Pete
Vanessa Pete.
Robinson. Holly
Yep.
Pete Robinson, her husband.
Holly Pete, yeah, Holly Pete,
Yeah.
yeah. Listen, I'm sorry. And
I
when I
got you.
tell you that book, like I read that book, and from a man's perspective, she talked about getting on board. Cause I wasn't
Mm,
on board. Like I kept saying,
mm.
look, he gonna grow out of it. He gonna
In
eventually
the in
talk.
the
It's gonna
now. In the
come.
now.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
first. That's the first stage, especially for men. Women, they'll be in denial maybe their first day, and then when they get confirmation, it's like, look, let's
They
get
own it.
to it.
Let's get
Let's
it.
get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to working on this with this situation, and let's see how we can fix it or make it better. Us as fathers, it's like, look, he'll give him a year or two. He'll come out of it. And what I started to realize was once I read that book and I started seeking that confirmation and I started understanding a little bit more, I knew that, okay, you got to get on board. Like, again, he 3 right now, but you don't want him to jump from 3 to 13 and then you just trying to do something about it. Because
Amen.
what people think is because, man, my child got autism. It's the end of the world. Nah, bro, it ain't. Like it ain't. It's like it's a better journey for like it's gonna teach you so many things in your life as a
Mm.
person that you're gonna start reaching levels of success that you know that you didn't possibly was able to reach, and it's gonna
Amen.
be because of that. So I definitely recommend that book. Second thing is I would say love them anyway. And the reason I say that is
Say that
because
again, bro. Say it again, bro.
love them anyway,
Love them
bro.
anyway, man. Love them
And
anyway.
when I say that, it sounds so simple because people be like, "What you mean?" Yeah, I love. Now, when I say you gotta love them anyway. Okay, I love my child, but now listen what I'm saying. Like love them anyway, meaning that when they got the meltdown, when they doing good today at school, when you just don't understand what they communicating, is you frustrated. When my son started doing it and I started becoming more patient, I just started loving them even harder. I was loving them harder. And I just like, you know what? I would never forget, he would be in the car. He had these meltdowns when he was like maybe 3 or 4. He'll wake up in the middle of the night. And when he woke up in the middle of the night, he just was, I'm talking about crying, just, I mean, loud as everything. And I couldn't get him to stop. And I would, and then it was just me by myself. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. So what I ended up doing was I just used to get him in the car. We would drive around for about an hour, 3 o'clock in the morning, drive around, and he would calm down. And I didn't get upset or frustrated because he started, it was a routine. He was doing this every time I saw him. So I was like, you know what? I got to embrace him. I'm going to hug him. I'm going to love him. We're going to ride around. I'm going to kind of try to nurture him and calm him down. And it started working. So when I started doing that, when situations was happening, I just started embracing it. I said, you know what? Let me embrace this process and do what I need to do to make him have more good days and bad days. I started doing it. Things started going into the right favor. And then last thing I would say is, and this is big, like especially for fathers that have, nonverbal autistic children. And I always tell people this because my son was once nonverbal. My son didn't really speak until he was around 8. That's when he started kind of speaking to where we knew that, okay, we got some hope with this thing.
Amen.
And I always tell people this one because I get a lot of questions about that. Like my DMs I probably got 1,000 messages saying, "Hey, what's the secret? What's the strategy? What do you do? Like, what do you do?" Because if I showed you videos from when he was younger up to now, like it's a big difference, a big progression of like, man, he really wasn't saying much to, man, like he can really communicate.
He rapping songs and all right now.
All of that. And
I love it too.
And he can, and he still got a ways to go, but me and his mom, we put a lot of work in with the investment. So you got to invest in it. You got to invest in this. But I always tell people when I do see those messages, I always say when they say, "Hey, what can I do, or what are you supposed to do?" And I always say, "Okay." I said, "Well, first you gotta love them anyway." I said, "You love your son, right?" Yeah, of course I love him. Okay, if you love them anyway through being verbal and nonverbal. That's the first thing. If they nonverbal, you still. I said, "Can your son hug you?" Yeah. Do they smile? Yeah. Can they give you a kiss on the cheek? Yeah. Man, I said, count your blessings, bro. You got to count them. Because just because they ain't got no voice, don't mean that all these other things that they can do. It's kids out here with disabilities that can't even move.
Amen.
You see what I'm saying? So my thing
themselves.
is none of that. And my thing is I always say, what if God say no? And that's when it gets thick. And they be like, wait a minute, what you mean? I said, well, what if God say no? I said, what if, because it was the same question I had for myself. I said, what if God didn't put it in, put him on earth to verbally speak? I said, you gonna stop loving him? You gonna stop caring about him?
Great
I said,
question.
but I tell you this though. If you embrace the process, you love them anyway, and you invest in them, things gonna start turning around. You ain't gonna be focused on, oh, my child not talking, I don't know. You're gonna start focusing on, man, look at all these great things that he can do. I ain't even thinking about the verbal voice, because again, love comes from action. It ain't just because somebody can say I love you, don't mean that they love you unless they show it, right? It's the
Boy,
same thing
preach.
when it comes to
Boy,
this.
you preaching, boy. Boy, you
You see what I'm
preaching.
saying? So it's the same thing that comes with our children on the spectrum. So I say, for me, what we did was, I never get, because me and his mama is on board with everything when it comes to what we have to do for him. I never forget. The process started. She was like, hey, look, Kelby ain't talking right now. So this is what we gonna do. I said, well, okay, what we gonna do? And she said, well, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start teaching them sign language. I said, we're gonna start teaching them sign language. I said, we don't
I
know
remember those
sign
days.
language. She said, no, I got you. She said, no, don't worry about it, I got you. She had this book when I came and got her. You need to learn these first couple pages by the next time I see you. So I'm like, what? So I'm looking at it and I'm trying to learn the book, and I was. And she knew more of the signs with me because she got them more than me, but she knew more of the signs and stuff. And he was doing these signs I never get. Now people don't even know. Like, he fluent in sign language. Like,
My
he really
boy
know
too.
this stuff.
My boy too.
So that was the first thing. The second thing was ABA therapy. I tell people all the time, bro, like, from sign language to ABA, even though ABA is more for like behavior. When I tell you with the sign language and then providing that behavior intervention, it all started connecting with him verbally. And when we started seeing, wait a minute, okay, sign blue, he started saying it. Wait a minute, show me more, show me eat,
Right.
eat. He was doing this stuff, and I was like, wait a minute. And me and his mom was like, we on to something. So she started going harder. So he started knowing. I said, no, look, we ain't gonna be. I said, we not gonna be able to keep up with him. I'm like, oh my God. He still know these signs to this day.
Whole
And
conversation.
we started doing that, and next thing you know, we started doing that, and we started invest. And then lastly, we started investing in speech therapy. I just posted this video earlier this morning. That was the last video from that I just posted. He been going to private speech therapy for about almost 3 years. And the reason why he progressing is because we pay this lady out of our pocket, from speech therapy to tutoring. His mom is adamant about, hey, he ain't missing no speech. He ain't missing no academic tutoring. And then he run track. She about all that. So
That's
every
so
week
good,
he getting it, and
he own it.
we started doing that, and we started investing and just doing it, and everything started turning around. So I always tell people, if God say no, what you gonna do about it? Really, it's a test. He may be saying no to see if you gonna have faith,
How
and
you
don't just
gonna
worry
handle it?
about the voice, and then count your blessings and say, you know what? Like, again, with my son, man, when he wasn't talking, that hug felt like a million words.
Ain't
That
it,
kiss
bro?
on the jaw felt like a million words. Like, all
Ain't
those
it,
things. And I
bro?
stopped worrying about the voice, and I would always pray every morning. I prayed to God, God, please give my son a voice. Take my voice and give it to him. Please give him a voice. And I started doing that, and I started focusing more on the stuff that he could do, and started working on it, and started working on the things that he couldn't do. It turned around. Everything changed, and that's how it happened.
Man, that's a beautiful, 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 beautiful mindset. Beautiful story, bro. Again, I commend you. I respect you, bro, for giving me the time to get these gems out to these fathers, including myself. This is something that is needed, bro. It's needed to just sit down and talk and build as fathers and get through it together. Cause like I said, it ain't no playbook. It ain't no playbook to this. You trying to do it the best you can. And sometimes you see other fathers doing things a little better than you, and you take a little bit from this guy, that guy. Every guy that I interview, I take a little bit from. Everybody, I get that strength, bro. And you may take something from me, who knows? But at the end of the day, just having that conversation is so good, because I have a lot of these guys tell me, man, bro, I feel so good just talking about it. Just getting it off my chest, because I'm trying to be so tough walking around like don't nothing bother me. But bro, this is something serious. It's gonna bother you. It'll bother any man. So it don't make you no less of a man if you struggling with it. So appreciate you again for your outlook because that's key. My mindset is key to being an autism father. So
Yes,
shouts
sir.
out to the men who listening right now. That's a good way to stay in the game. So this last thing to round you out, bro. We do this thing called Autism Dads speed round. Where I ask you questions, you just shoot out the answers. Don't think about it. Right off the dome, you tell me what you think after I ask you the question, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, bet.
Let's get it. Oh, hey, in memory of my boy, let's get it. So, all right,
Yeah.
coffee or energy drink
Coffee.
all day. What kind of coffee?
I'm trying to get into the black coffee, but it can be any coffee, but I try to limit them sugars and them creams in it. So
Yeah,
trying to get back healthy.
smart man. What's the earliest time of the day Kelby ever woke up?
Ooh, man. When it come to him trying to eat, I'm gonna say probably about 5 o'clock,
Ah,
5 a.m. knocking on the
come
door
on,
saying we finna go to this
come on,
restaurant.
come on, pops. No, bro, he is not hungry at 5 a.m.
One day I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna catch him. Because I be sleep. I'm gonna
Please,
catch the
bro.
video with him up, talking about he ready to go eat. Yeah, he have a
That boy,
timer too now. He got a
that
timer
boy,
on, so
no, on his phone, right?
timer. Yeah.
He's still crazy about raising Cain. That's still the favorite one.
As of right now, but he just now. But I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw it out and just announce it. And my wife came up with this idea. She was like, "Look, y'all gotta start doing food reviews." And I was like, "Food reviews? Like,
Yeah,
what
great
is that?"
idea.
She was like, "You gonna go?" She was like, "This thing gonna go crazy if you do," because people just love to see them eat. And
Yeah,
I
love
never
to see
just
him
really thought
talk,
about it.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then when my best friend, he was on the same thing. He was like, "Bro, y'all already slick doing it because y'all shouting the restaurant out. He eating the
Mm-hmm.
food. You telling people to, like." So he's like, "You already really doing it." So I was like, "Man, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm working on it now." So I said, "You know what? We gonna get to it. Yeah,
Just
let's
know
get
I'll
to
be
it."
tuned in, but me and my family be tuned in. Just know that.
Sir,
All right, but
yes,
next
sir.
question. Give me one word that best describe Kelvin.
Man, I'm gonna say that best describe him. I'm gonna say happy. Man, he happy
Dope.
all the time. He happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very rare that he not happy. Like again, and that's what drives me to do what I'm doing. I could be having a terrible day, but he's
Mm-hmm.
so happy, and his energy is right there, showing that happiness. I'm like, you know what? Let me get it together. Let me get it together. So
Love.
I'm gonna say happiness for sure.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Give me your go-to move as a dad when he's having a meltdown. I know we talked about this earlier, but get to me in the speed round. What's your go-to move as a father when Kelvin have a meltdown? First thing you do.
Man, well, usually with him, if he have his meltdown, it's because I can't. He trying to communicate something, and I don't understand what he's saying or what he's trying to tell us. So
Mm-hmm.
the luxury of him being able to use technology is a good thing too, bro. So I don't get what he's trying to tell me or what he want me to do. I give him my phone. I take my notes out. He tell me what you want, son. Tell me what you need. He type whatever
Amen.
it is. If he ain't feeling well, if he wants something, if somebody hurt his feelings, he can type it on his phone and tell me what
Amen.
it is, and it helps me, get to the solution of what I need to do to help him. So, yeah.
Love. What's your favorite activity to do with the son?
Man, I'm gonna say eat, but because
Eat.
that's all he want to do. But
Yeah.
that's why I knew. I said, yeah, I got to get in the gym messing with him because
But
every time we FaceTime,
I see you take
what
him
you
to the
say?
basketball games too. So that's dope. So I
Yeah,
just want
yeah,
to shout
yeah.
that
I
out.
try to take him. Yeah, I appreciate. I try to take him to just do different stuff. But I mean, Kelvin, he down for whatever. As long as there's a restaurant in there, as long as he can go eat something, he ready to do whatever. Yeah, he ready to do whatever.
That's what's up. All right, next one. Something you said you would never do as a father, but you do now. Right now, this day, you say you would never do as a father, but you do as an autistic father.
Oh, that's a good one. So I'm gonna say, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna just say I would never. I always used to tell people I wasn't gonna never tell people that, I ain't never, and people ain't got to know that he autistic. I ain't got to tell
Mm-hmm.
people that. But what I started doing was, because now I'm so in tune to it, and I'm about awareness. If I see somebody say something to him, I'm always like, "Hey, you familiar with autism? Hey, he got autism. Like, you know somebody, you familiar with it? Yeah." So I'm getting them educated on if they do or don't know. And you will be
Mm-hmm.
surprised. There's a lot of people that they still don't know.
We don't know.
In this generation, in this world right now, in this decade, people still don't know.
Amen.
So,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. My last one for you, bro. And I want you to give me this from your heart. I stay in the game because.
I stay in the game because, for one, not just for my son, but for the world. Like, yeah, it been times where I wanted to stop doing this. You know what? Trying to fight the internet. I was like, you know what? Forget it. I ain't doing this. I remember his mama. I was telling her, I said, look, I'm gonna just deactivate this page. I'm just gonna let it go. She said, you can't. She said, the people counting on you. People counting on you to do it.
Damn.
They counting on him. And when I knew that it wasn't about me, and I knew that it got even bigger when it wasn't just about him, I said, you know what? I got to do it because God want me to do this and help people. There's a lot of people out here. I mean, I've gotten DMs from guys saying, look, man, I ain't seen my son in 10 years, man. Your story inspired me so much. I'm going to see my son next week.
Wow.
And that's what kept me going. I'm like,
that's what it's about.
Man, I ain't know this thing gonna be this big. And I never thought that. I said, man, so I knew then, I said, God got this as a purpose. He want me to continue to do this to not only help, my son, but help the world, so why I do
Beautiful.
what I do.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. Well, man, from not meeting you to meeting you today, bro, this been a hell of a meeting, bro. Hell of a talk. I got mad respect for you, man. Thank you so much again for giving me your time. Let me get to know you, letting the world get to know you on an intimate level. That's what's up, bro. You're doing a great job as a father. Keep going. We can't whoop the internet, so we're just gonna go with it.
Right.
And that is what it is. I got a lot of big things coming up for the fathers in our community. A lot of events coming, man. So I'm gonna make sure I keep you tapped in with everything. Some speaking arrangements, all kind of stuff, bro. I love your energy, love your vibes, man. And I would love to do this again one day in the future. And I'd love to meet your baby boy one day too, bro. And you definitely can meet mine.
For sure. Yep, you up the street, so we got to do something together. I'm actually, I'm working on this too, but I'm trying to see how I'm gonna do it. People been asking me about, man, podcast. You need the podcast. I was like, well, I just, and I said, you know what? People want to hear it. I got a lot to talk about, so that is something that I'm working on too for the near future. So I'm gonna definitely have you on.
For sure, bro. Join the party, baby. Let's do it, man. Once you join it, it's up. It's up from now.
Yeah.
So thank you again, my brother. To everybody who tuned in, man. Thank y'all again. We doing this for the Autism Dads. We just want to stay in the game, share our strengths, share our weaknesses, share our wisdom. Anything we can do to help you stay in the game. Like I always say, whether it's good or it's bad, bro, stay in the game. Thank you again, Stanley, man. I appreciate you, bro. From one Stanley to another one.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
No problem.